Hello, my name is Jonah Gelzo, Audio Tuts Plus and AE Tuts Plus author. I'm pleased to present my review of the D-Focus Systems D-Focus V3, D-Zoom, and D-Matte Complete. I first learned about D-Focus Systems and the products after dealing with Jehu Garcia at Jag35, as both companies have strong relational ties. D-Focus Systems is another one of those great, smaller companies whose goal is to create products geared toward filmmaking enthusiasts of all kinds, notably those on a budget. Many of us as enthusiasts want all the tools of the professional but can't and won't pay the out-of-this-world price tag on high-end gear only Hollywood can write off on their tax returns. D-Focus's, focus is to specifically tailor products and prices to appeal to the market of emerging creatives. D-Focus offers camera product accessories such as matte boxes, follow focuses, their innovative D-Zoom, as well as additional accessories for rigging out your camera setup. I was first really interested in getting my hands on their budget-friendly follow focus, the D-Focus V3. D-Focus's economically priced follow focuses have caught the attention of a lot of budget-constrained creatives. Most decent follow focuses can cost multiple hundreds of dollars and oftentimes over $1,000. Very pleasantly, the V3 comes out to a mere fraction of the price of more expensive follow focus setups, while offering the same essential functionality. Having been impressed with Jag35's products and being recommended firsthand by Jehu Garcia, I decided to get in touch with D-Focus Systems to see if all the fuss about their products was warranted. A few days later, the D-Focus V3, D-Matte Complete, and D-Zoom arrived on my doorstep just in time to throw in my kit bag before heading off to the airport to get groped by the TSA and be on my way for a shoot overseas in Japan. While overseas for 2 weeks in Japan, I really came to like all the D-Focus system gear, most notably the D-Focus V3. Having that additional control and comfort over manually focusing the camera was so beneficial to everyday run and gun shooting. Anyone who's had the opportunity to use a follow focus finds it's very hard to go back to manually focusing using the focus ring on their DSLR. With the follow focus, you have more tactile control over keeping your subject spot on focus, as well as having the ability to mark your focus points utilizing standard Sharpies and the metal reference point on the follow itself. If you plan to pick up a D-Focus V3, just like any follow focus, you'll need a basic rail setup, as the follow focus attaches via two standard 15mm rods and interfaces with your lenses via an economically priced D-gear for mounting onto the lens focus ring. The D-gear comes with a variety of insertable length legs which allow you to adjust and fit the D-gear to a variety of lens sizes, and with a simple screw and nut, just tighten down the D-gear to your lens for use with the D-Focus. I really recommend picking up a few D-gears though if you have multiple lenses, as it's so much easier switching out various lenses that are already good to go with the D-gear installed. Next, just slide the V3 over the rails, slide and adjust the horizontal positioning till the gear head mates with the D-gear. You want it to interlock nicely while not forcing the teeth too hard against each other in order to retain a nice smooth rotation. Once properly adjusted, just tighten the tightening control and you're ready to rock and roll. The V3 is made out of metal and durable plastic and feels and operates very smooth considering how economically priced the product is. Higher price follows are often more rugged and more stout overall, which is very much reflected in the pricing. But all considering for a budget follow focus, the D-Focus handled quite well in rigorous shooting conditions overseas. But regardless, the V3 isn't made for constant, intense Hollywood production shooting. It's simplistic yet very capable, lightweight but able-bodied to handle most shooting situations. And in my opinion, I'd much rather shoot with a practical D-Focus V3 that's relative to my budget and not feel so guilty as I could have had I spent more money on a higher price follow focus, which could have easily cost 4 to 5 to even 10 times the amount, and it would work out costing more than my camera is even worth. Plus, I love that I picked up 2 V3s for our documentary shooting, which still came out to 1/3 of the price of what a higher price follow focus would have come to. And even though the V3 gearing is only fabricated out of high-grade plastics instead of metal, I was very reassured to know that unlike other economically priced follow focuses out there, with the V3 there's no give or play in the gearing. It gives you fast, accurate focal precision each and every time. As a video editor, I'm often given footage to cut which has major focus issues, where the operator is unable to properly track the focus of their subject due to dealing with finicky focus controls on the lens, which can be much more sensitive, not to mention fatiguing. Just take a look at DSLR footage on YouTube. Oftentimes the operator thinks his footage is amazing, shooting at such a wide open aperture setting, even though his focus is constantly all over the place, with the subject matter continually in and out of focus. Now, tracking focus with talent and subject matter is so much easier and accurate utilizing the V3. And again, with the marking disc, you can easily mark a talent's focus setting with a Sharpie to even more efficiently stay on target when shooting at very wide aperture, narrow depth of field settings. The V3 was such a nice addition to my mobile camera rig out in Japan. It's super lightweight, much more compact than other systems, and considering the price again, let's be honest, I was a lot less worried about if something happened to it. When on location, we are constantly on the go, and with most any documentary, your subject matter is all over the place. There's no blocking and time to nail down your focal tracking. So having the V3 made life so much easier and comfortable when shooting all day, every day, all throughout Tokyo and over Japan. Defocus systems also offer some great little accessories to ensure you get a proper fit with your V3, no matter your rig setup. Depending upon your camera setup, which could affect the distance between your lens and the rails, such as when a DSLR battery hand grip is used or perhaps interfacing with an XLR to DSLR adapter, you might then have a little need to give your V3 a vertical boost. With the D-riser, you can easily do so. The D-riser comes with two height options to give your V3 the proper sizing to interface with the D gear. Another thing that really further enforces the simplistic yet effective design of the V3 is the Allen wrench, which serves as a focus marking reference, which additionally doubles as a tool to adjust your V3 or when installing the D-riser. Defocus also offers an inexpensive handy little D-mount accessory for dealing with a much longer and front-heavy telephoto lens. It's super easy to attach to the rails and the lens via a simple adjustment, and it helps to even out the weight distribution of the lens. For most typical lenses, a D-mount won't be something you'll need. It just might be a consideration for more extreme telephoto lenses. If your particular lens has a long focal throw, or when simply needing to do quick focus pulls, the V3, just like more expensive follows, comes with an industry standard accessory port. So if you have a camera whip around, you can interface it with the V3. Or an even cheaper option for quick pulling focus is the D crank. Just pop it in for quick and drastic focus pulling. It's nice that you have the option to interface optional components to the V3 if needed. When it comes to the entry-level follow focuses, you really can't beat the Defocus V3. Sure, if you're Steven Spielberg's DP, you might want to invest in a more battle-hardened and constructed follow, but for most filming enthusiasts, the Defocus V3 far outshines other budget-friendly follow focus systems by a long shot. Even on more professional films and commercial projects, I'd still bring this guy along. I'd only opt for a more hardy setup if I was using a large format camera system instead of standard DSLRs, such as a RED or ARRI setup, where you'd be interfacing with large and heavy cine lenses. With the low price tag, adjustability, and flexibility the V3 offers, it's the perfect addition to your rig. For so little out of pocket for the V3, you have absolutely nothing to lose, but only so much to gain. And trust me, you won't want to leave your follow behind. Another great product is the D-Mat and D-Mat Complete Matte Box setup for your rig. With the standard D-Mat starting at just a couple $100 and the D-Mat Complete for only a little more, you can have a fully functional matte box setup with direct lens or standard rail mount, with the ability to insert 4x4 lens filters via its 2 filter inserts, with one of them being rotation adjustable. With the attachable top and side barn doors with adjustability, you have the ability to adjust the barn doors to flag stray unwanted light from the sun or lighting setups, causing a haze or glare in your shot. For the price, this is a really great matte box, constructed out of durable ABS plastic and aluminum, which is geared towards being quite strong yet extremely lightweight. Again, for the price tag, this is a great piece of gear and has a lot of functional options that you won't find in most entry-level matte box solutions. There are much more hardily constructed matte boxes available, but they're going to be a lot heavier and can cost easily over $1,000. When you're living out of a backpack like our crew did for a shoot in Japan, lightweight gear makes a huge difference. The D-mat is also very easy to break down when storing in a pack. Most people only associate the matte box as making the camera look more Hollywood-like, without actually understanding the real function and use behind the matte box itself. A matte box does a few things. Number one, with the matte box, the actual rectangular box which goes over the lens helps to prevent haze, glare, reflections, and sun rays by controlling how much light and how light enters the lens. The barn doors open and close and are adjustable in order to flag or block that light from affecting the final image on screen. A matte box also incorporates fixed and rotating filter slots for adding various glass filters for shooting. These filters can be used to enrich colors, desaturate colors, increase contrast, bring out more definition in the sky, or even produce a silky smooth softness to your image to hide imperfections on skin or more subtly smooth out harsh lighting. Using a variety of filters can help you further adjust the final image rendered in the camera, giving the editor and colorist a better image from the get-go, to then even further improve or adjust in post. Neutral density filters also allow the user to significantly reduce the amount of light entering the lens, thus allowing the operator to increase the sizing of the aperture to work with a drastically reduced depth of field that otherwise would not be possible when shooting in very bright, sunny conditions, which force the operator to adjust the aperture to a much more closed position, thus broadening the depth of field and decreasing your ability to get that rich, shallow depth of field as seen in films, used to better direct the audience's attention to the subject matter. The D-mat was a great addition on location, especially when we had the additional time to properly set up a unique shot to our liking using various filters and controlling the entrance of the light into the lens. And I won't lie, the matte box is pretty much the one piece of gear that somehow makes you feel like you're cooler and a better filmmaker than perhaps you really are. Lastly, I want to introduce you to a really one-of-its-kind product solution, the D-Zoom. Okay, so maybe it doesn't warrant having a celebratory banquet or fireworks being shot off, but this really is a cool accessory for any DSLR rig. For most of us who are more than 12 years old, we grew up filming with either Sony Handycams or Panasonic DVX100s or Canon XL2s. Sure, comparatively now they all suck image-wise, considering the standard DV format. But one thing they did have, and one thing I know many of you still miss, is easy zoom controls. Ah yes, servos. Just play the rocker and in and out we go with ease. Moving to the smaller DSLR platform of shooting, everything is, well, a lot more organic. And when I say organic, I mean manual. And when I say manual, well, I mean you have to do everything by hand, or by another expensive accessory. If you're one of the ones who loves the imaging of DSLRs but misses the easy zooming capabilities of servo-controlled zooms, then you might fancy the D-Zoom. I will qualify that the D-Zoom isn't exactly some high-tech piece of electronic kit that servo-controls your zooming, but what it does do is offer a cost-effective solution for easier, manually operated zooms. The D-Zoom attaches via a single standard 15mm rod and tightens down snugly in place with a single tightening knob. If you picked up an extra D gear like I suggested, all you have to do is mount it over your zoom ring on your lens and interface the D-Zoom gearing. Be sure to adjust your lens and D-Zoom so you can track the entirety of your zoom's focal length. Once in place, the D-Zoom offers you a solidly made accessory which allows you to efficiently and more easily incorporate much smoother zoom pulls and pushes. Now, I don't typically like doing zoom pulls or pushes unless I'm going for a particular style or effect, but what I do really like is having much more tactile control over setting my focal length quickly when on the go. While on a shoot, I'm very often needing to adjust my focal length in and out depending upon the kind of shot composition I desire. So having the D-zoom really makes things a lot more efficient and puts your camera's controls much more at your fingertips, allowing your camera setup to be more or less an extension of your body. Now, keeping things in perspective, if you could only afford one camera rig add-on, I'd highly suggest you pick up a follow focus, by far the most crucial and beneficial add-on for everyday uses. And then if you are more keen to incorporate some focal length pulls or pushes, or just want that added convenience, then I'd suggest having a go with the D-zoom. The little add-on is really made quite well and is a solid little piece of kit. It's nice and small and lightweight, again lending itself towards being another great piece of kit that you can just throw in your bag without it taking up any space. All in all, for the price, options, flexibility, lightweight, and mobile-centric designs, all these defocus system products can further provide the filmmaker and run-and-gun shooter with even more avenues for better controlling the final image, resulting in a more efficiently produced and looking shot. Defocus products worked out great for us, so you might just want to have a look at them for yourself. For more information on defocus system products and accessories, visit www.defocussystem.com. I'm Jonah Gelzo for Audio Tuts Plus and AE Tuts Plus. Thanks for watching and happy filmmaking.